Hello Excel champions, it's William aka Dr. Excel. Today I'm going to show you how to replace nested if formulas with a Vlookup. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and as usual I'll give you the file. The link is going to be right below the video. So download it and follow with me with all the formulas, how it's built. So what we're trying to avoid here is, when you have some values, and depending on the value, you're gonna make if formulas. For example, if the value equals a, then we display a value. Then we display, for example, category a. If it's not a, then we're gonna make a second test. So if the value equals b, then so I actually have to make a second nested if. If b2 equals b, then I'm gonna display b, something for b, and I can go on and on and on, and the problem with that is then you have and otherwise I'm gonna make other. The problem with that is that you're gonna have a very long nested if formula, and honestly it's really hard to read and to debug and to modify, so it's not really suitable. So when you have a case like this, you have different values and they are fixed, which means each time you're trying to find fixed values, we are going to use a Vlookup instead. So for example, here I'm going to make a new table, which is going to be category like this, and each time I'm going to put the message. For example, I want to display, here we're computing the price, so maybe here I can say it's $5, for this one it's 10, 20, and 10 again. And now each time, instead of using if formulas, I'm just going to use a Vlookup of the category in the table with everything. I'm going to return the second column, and I want an exact match. So each time it's going to look up in the table and tell me which value to display. So when both of actually I'm going to put this as a template here so we can remember. Yeah, so I do my Vlookup here, and it's when the values are fixed, whenever you can, it's good to use a table with all the values of the Vlookup. So it goes faster. And here, so I'm going to rewrite the formulas because I erased it. Vlookup, real quick. Vlookup of the value in the table. Second column, exact match. And here I've been looking for exact values, but what's cool, sometimes you want to, let's say for example, you have result, like revenue or profit, and you want to display a different message depending on its value. For example, it's positive, negative, or zero, and you don't necessarily know all the values, so you can't. The question is, can you use a Vlookup or not? Because you don't really know, you don't have the set of values already. For example, if I have 32,000. So here we're going to try to display negative, positive, and zero. Okay, so we're going to make a table for that. We're going to do it with Vlookup as well. So the value, the message, and so if it's negative, we're going to say negative, or loss, we're going to say loss. Zero, we're going to say break even, and if it's positive, it's going to be a profit. So now we're going to do a tricky use of Vlookup, which is we're not going to use an exact match. So here I'm going to display, if the value is 0, we're going to display break even. And let's say, for example, if I put 10,000, let's try like that to show you a bit what's going to happen. Minus 10,000. Here I'm going to display the message, so I do Vlookup the value in the table, and we return the second column. And now we're going to use an approximate match, and we're going to see what happens. So here, when you do an approximate match, what happens is Vlookup looks in the table, checks all the values, and once it and returns the last value that was below the value that we're looking up. So here it goes all the way to the table and says that at this point 10,000 was lower than 32,000, and that's actually the last value, so it returns this one. If I put 16,000, yeah, it works as well. If I put 5,000, what does it do? It says break even. Break even because it looks at 10,000, says it's higher, so I'm gonna return this one. So what we're going to do here, we have to make sure that as soon as it's positive, it switches to profit. So I'm gonna put a really low value here. I'm going to put 0.001. Okay, and because it means that it's always going to be positive, except if I make 0.1 cent of profit, which is almost nothing. So each time that we put something positive, even $1, it's going to be above the profit, and it's going to be returned this one. Now if I have losses, for example, if I make -5, -5 is going to be a loss because we go into the table. Even here, any negative amount, the last value that was lower than -5 would be anytime loss. But for example, if I put -20,000, it's going to be an error. Why? Because actually we're trying to look up a value to return the last value that was lower than -20,000, and actually it's not, because the first value is -10. So here we have to make sure for the loss that it's going to be always lower than our loss. So what I can put is minus, I'm going to put a lot of 9s here. So so in like reasonable cases, it's never going to happen, I hope for you. And it's always going to be a loss, you know, so I can try with any number. It's always going to be display the right message. So that's the second method. You know, even if you don't know all the values that can appear in your cell, you can use a Vlookup if it's numeric to make sort of a table and to allocate a value for each range instead of each exact value using the approximate match in Vlookup. So I hope it's going to be helpful to you. It's going to be easier for you to display messages right now. Don't forget to download the file with all the formula right below the video. And I'll see you tomorrow for a new Excel tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe. This way you will be notified as soon as I publish it. See you tomorrow, guys. Ciao.